What up, my people? Welcome to the League Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Shane Youman. Once again, we're going to flip the script, do something a little bit different. Had the pleasure of having a little roundtable discussion tonight with some fellow teammates of mine throughout the minor leagues. This edition of the League Talk Podcast is about the grind and how tough it is to make it to Major League Baseball. All three of the guys that are on the podcast tonight had the talent, had the drive, had the mental capacity, had the total package to be big league ball players, but unfortunately, they haven't been able to live out that dream, whether it be politics, the business side of things, injuries, so on and so forth. So tonight, we're going to discuss some of the things that may have kept them from reaching that pinnacle of playing Major League Baseball. But before I do that, we had a couple of other guys that were supposed to be on the podcast tonight that weren't able to make it. Most notably, Cedric Harris, a former college teammate of mine, roommate of mine. He's dealing with some family issues. Two of his sons got in a bad ATV accident a few days back. Real critical condition. Both are athletes. He's with them. So if you guys listening in, fellas on the podcast, if you're praying men, pray for them. If you're not praying, just keep them in your thoughts. If you're not a praying person, keep them in your thoughts. And let's ask, the Lord and our man up above to bring them to a speedy recovery, and they can be kids again and do the things that they love. So shout out to Cedric Harris, Marie Ferdinand Harris, the Harris family, everybody out there in Arkansas, CJ and Dante. We wish you guys have a speedy recovery and can get back to the baseball field, football grind, and whatever else. Another guy, Jared Mitchell, wasn't able to make it, traveling and things of that nature. But hopefully we'll get everybody together at one point in time and do this thing all over again. I'll have a part two. But without further ado, the League Talk Podcast, we got, I guess, OG to BG. We got Claudell Clark, former pitcher with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Vic Buttler, former outfielder with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Sean Smitty Smith, brother Shabbat, former outfielder with the Pittsburgh Pirates and Chicago White Sox. Fellas, I appreciate y'all hopping on, man. Claudell, I know you're pressed for time, so we really appreciate you taking the time out. Whatever you give us the next half hour to share some things with us and shed some light on the process of being a big league ball player. So first off, man, and we'll go in order. We'll go oldest to youngest, but we can mix it up and do whatever we need to do. I might be older than you though, Claudell. So, but being that I'm hosting everything, I'm gonna let you lead the way. But just talk about, man, growing up. How did you get involved with the game of baseball? And we just gonna go in a round table and talk about it from there. But Claudell, give us a little brief intro into how you got going with baseball, man.
Well, first of all, Shane, I appreciate this opportunity to connect with some professional players, some old friends, and continue to talk the game of baseball. Just growing up, my dad and my brother were great examples. White, black players on TV I identified with were great examples. And we had a beautiful baseball community here in the 757 Hampton Roads region, as you all know, and as you all's communities have put off great ball players. We just had great examples here. So I took hold of the sport, was fortunate enough to have a family who could afford to put me on travel teams and to give me the right instruction to get me through to middle school and the high school and secure that walk-on spot, which turned to a scholarship, which ultimately turned to playing with you guys in the Pirates organization. So just having great examples, man, just being in a great fertile baseball environment, having examples on TV, guys who came before us, and just the sport captures my eye. Had a decent arm, good little stick, transferred to a pitcher, and that afforded me to get to the professional level with the Pirates. So, just having great examples and just having a road paved by guys who came before us at the college and pro level influenced me to go on, and I was able to get the chance to play with you guys.
That's what's up, man. And I forgot to mention from the VA, from VA, man, the DMV. So, we got everybody from every coast, East Coast, West Coast, down South. So, Vic, man, go ahead and share your story, how you got going with the game.
Well, for me, it started all with my mom. When I was younger, I was raised, my mother and my father separated at an early age. I was about 2 years old. So I was back and forth between my mom and my dad, more so my mom. And I used to just always go outside in the backyard and play. Actually, it was an apartment building, and we lived in an apartment building when I was younger. And we had a outside area behind an apartment building. And I would go out there and we would have we play like little home run derby type of ordeals with the kids in the area. And it's a funny story because the kids would come and knock on my door and tell my mom. They would complain that I was losing all the balls. So I'm like, hold on, I gotta check you out. You think you can swing it a little bit. Yeah. So we went from we made makeshift balls. We went from the regular little balls we had to sock balls to aluminum foil. It was so many balls that were going through. We just had to start making balls. So she signed me up when I was I started baseball actually at a late age. I believe I was 9 going on 10. I never played T-ball. So she signed me up for Sportsman Little League. That's when I met Brandon Watson and Brian Barton.
Shout out Sportsman, man. Sportsman Little League.
Sportsman Little League, man. We're that's a legendary Little League out of Inglewood, California. It's actually right now SoFi Stadium is built on top of where Sportsman Little League used to be. Yeah. But a lot of really good players came out of there, man. So I started at Sportsman, met some really good guys. I always just played baseball for fun. It was always fun for me. I really didn't know my talents until I got to El Camino. When I was a junior college player, I had scouts coming out looking for me, but I still just didn't take the game serious until one day my dad came and knocked on my door, and he basically told me that I embarrassed our family name. He opened the door because I was living with my mom at the time, and just grabbed me by my shirt and threw me against the wall and was like, "Hey, man, one thing that you're not going to do is you're not going to make, my last name is Butler with 2 T's, and you're not going to, you're not going to drag our last name through the mud. I went to your game. I didn't know that you're not going to be there. You didn't communicate with me, and there are scouts sitting at the stands asking for you. And all I saw them doing was crossing your name off the list. Like, he's not here. He's a flake. You know what I mean? But I was, had a high school sweetheart at the time. Didn't know how good I really was, how good I really could be. And after that, man, it was like a wake up call for me. I took the game a little more seriously, and that's when I ended up getting drafted 14th round by the Pirates after my first year at El Camino College. And from then on, it was I got a chance to write my story and meet all you wonderful and professional and amazing gentlemen, man. So without baseball, I tell my younger guys that now, without baseball, I don't know where I would be. I don't even know if I'll be alive right now. All my closest friends, all the things that I do now in life, they're surrounded by baseball, man. So God is good, man. And thanks for having me, Shane.
Sure, man. Always a pleasure. Finally get you here. I had to get a couple other guys to get you on the show, so we got you in here, especially with Brother Shabbat, man. I know you spent a little time on the West Coast too, but ended up going to the Midwest. But you're a mixture of Midwest, West Coast guys. So we hitting all cylinders right now tonight, man. So we're gonna let Brother Shabbat, Sean Smith, share his humble beginnings with the game of baseball.
Born at Cedar Sinai in Beverly Hills, West Coast.
I was, man, and I know nothing about it.
Y'all speaking a foreign language with Claudell on the call, man. He don't know nothing about that.
All right, cutting from the boot. No, Sean Smith. I was born in Cali, yes, but I did not grow up there. I wasn't raised there. I was raised in Joliet. That's a half hour south of Chicago. So just pretty much, man, I had a similar beginning like VB and my father. I grew up without him. It was never a sore spot in my life. Not from the time I was 9 years old when I started playing baseball to this point in life now. To this day, my mother has never said a bad word about this dude. He's been in prison almost my whole life. So I'm grateful that she was honest about that there, because a lot of times either not having, the lack thereof, or, the story could be twisted. And I think when it comes to kids who are the most innocent, the most, loving beings, it's really important to set the right example there. You know what I'm saying? That I don't mean life will be perfect and things like that, but it just, kind of put the the right foundation in me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm a God-fearing man as well. Without baseball, I wouldn't even be on the phone with you guys like this. A couple of y'all, you know what I'm saying? We still keep in touch now. You guys are my brothers. I love you. So anything I do, I know I represent y'all as well. So I had an uncle who was really important in my life, and had a older cousin, his son. He was a year older than me. Everything he did, I wanted to do. And one day, he was faster than me, bigger than me, but my uncle never, he used that to push me a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Again, I feel like, and to this day, I love you, Uncle Johnny. You know what I'm saying? He came to my wedding, flew down to Mexico, all that. You know what I mean? And he was married into the family. So his, who is his ex-wife now, is my aunt. And my aunt was like a mother to me too. You know what I'm saying? Just a close-knit family. But had he not taken his son to play baseball, I don't know when I would have started. But I remember he came back one day, man, with a baseball hat on, glove. And I just wanted to do it because he was doing it. And I picked up a ball. I could tell you where I was standing right next to a red picnic table in my uncle's backyard. I picked up a tennis ball, man. I remember this feeling of it being just so great. I never wanted that feeling to let go of that feeling ever. I knew immediately. I couldn't communicate those things right then, but it was just things that I knew. And loving baseball, just, very blessed to where, and I'm sure, y'all see me run myself into a wall too, but at a younger age, man, I just wanted to play baseball, man. Yeah. I would love to play baseball, going to different neighborhoods, this, that, and the third, and you end up being the best. But it was, friendly competition, but it was also because it was something that you truly enjoyed. And I know not many people to this day get to do something past, childhood of something they truly, truly, truly enjoy. And I would just lay by that, and ended up getting an opportunity, got drafted out of high school. I found out by accident. I was going to watch some of my friends. They put us out of high school my last year. We got put out of state tournament. They were playing against each other, so I went up there to support them. And people's parents are coming up to me, nothing out of normal. I always say what's up, respectful. And I found out I got drafted by one of my boys that got drafted in the 9th round. I had no idea. I had a black cell tech phone. I called my mama, and that just led me down there to the Pittsburgh Pirates organization. So Vic Buttler was 14th round. I was 15th round. And we just been sharpening each other this whole time. So thank you for having us, man.
Looking to support a nonprofit that is making moves? Real Youth Mentoring is a nonprofit organization that provides support to young men across the United States, teaching them to be better scholars, better leaders, and productive members of their community. Through service, scholarship, and engagement, we address the systemic issues that often plague low-income communities while providing solutions rooted in economics and accountability. Visit our website, www.realyouthmentoring.org, to learn how you can join and learn ways that you can provide support. The change we need is here, and the change we need is now. Become a member and a supporter today.
Same draft, man, and moving along.
Right.
Yeah, moving along, and we're gonna talk about all of that. Smitty, high energy guy, so you had to find a way to burn off some of that energy, and you still had energy left over. And for people tuning in, you could probably look at these guys and see they still in good enough shape to go out there and play. We're a little bit older, knees might hurt a little bit, but guys are still in shape, ready to play the game. Could go out there and throw an inning or two, get a lefty out, huh, Claudell? Smitty get on bases and cause some havoc. VB is swinging. But fellas, yeah, I know Vic played a little basketball, a little football. Smitty, you wrestled, being in the Midwest. Claudell, man, did you play any other sports coming up besides baseball, or was it just strictly baseball?
It was a little bit of basketball, but I just strictly focused on baseball. I had nothing against any other sport. I had great appreciation for those things. I think I could have certainly played maybe a quarterback, been a shorter or a backup quarterback in football. I could have, thrown the ball quite well there. Decent basketball player, even handled the ball pretty well to this day, and then loved that for conditioning. But I just loved the game of baseball. It wasn't a specialized school by force, but we just had great wrestling and great football and great baseball, and you just kind of stayed in your lane and did that. Yeah. So I knew nothing different, but was good at it. Got great instruction. Was just in a fortunate spot to just have some things in place to continue to play baseball. Great in middle school, high school, a great path to college. And then the path was just kind of paved, man. So, I know a lot of times guys go through some really, really tough times and some really tough situations to have to play the game. Certainly was not rich, certainly was not well-to-do, but parents just had enough, school system just had enough, and the path was just paved just enough to kind of keep staying in that baseball lane. So I stuck with it, had a good outfield career, and just at the tip of my college career, started pitching, kind of caught lightning in a bottle there with a couple pitches, and was able to kind of impress the Pirates enough to say, hey, look, maybe we'll let this guy develop on the mound, and it just kind of just took hold. So just a baseball guy by trade, and love the game, love all sports, but just it was almost like divine intervention. It just stayed on the baseball path, and it led to some great things.
So,
even beyond our playing days.
Let me ask you this though, and we know that. I know you became the head coach at your alma mater and the AD as well, doing some special things back at the crib. Playing it, definitely playing in AAA. I got a chance to come and check you guys out when we played in Norfolk. But I say that to say this, asking you if you played any other sports. You said you focused on baseball. When did you know you had an opportunity to play beyond high school? Like, was it a particular game, a particular season, seeing some scouts out at a game or some college coaches out at a game? Because you took a tough road in Norfolk State, HBCU out there. You walked on. You said you were a walk-on, and you had to earn that scholarship. Nowadays, kids, they want that straight scholarship. They don't want to walk on nowhere. If I ain't getting no scholarship, I ain't going. I don't want to play. So when did you know you had a chance, or did you just didn't know you had a chance to play at higher levels?
Well, to be honest, in high school, just had a good arm, had athletic ability. I don't know that I was on Sean's or Vic's level, and that's not being funny. These guys kind of matured and just kind of took off in high school. I had one recruiting phone call, 0 recruiting letters. I had a gentleman out of Lewisburg called. And it was just, I didn't take into offense. It was just the way it was at that time. He says, hey, boy, you can run. And again, I didn't take it into offense. It's just, he was a country guy. He was a good guy. He was a good guy. And he said, hey, boy, I heard you can run. Come on down for a visit. He was sincere. And we came for a visit. So, man. I can't call his name now, but I love the man to death. So, hey, he's the one who gave me an opportunity. So I didn't go to Lewisburg. Obviously, went to Norfolk State. Really just kind of a young, started school early, kind of a young outfielder there. And Marty Miller, who's recently retired, did tremendous things for HBCU baseball. Yeah. And one of the first coaches really to take his team along with guys from the SWAC. He knew about the SWAC. I hadn't even heard about the SWAC at that point, but he was one of the first coaches, along with Coach Kador and those guys, to kind of take their teams and travel and play the big majority schools, and beat those guys. But I got to Norfolk State, and he asked me to try pitching, and I was just open-minded enough to try to do that. And junior and senior years, kind of had some breakout seasons, got seen by the right scouts. Russ Bowen, wherever he's at, praises to him with the Pirates, and those guys gave me a chance. And for a few years in the Pirates organization, I was able to show before injury that, hey, man, you guys made the right decision. So it was a very late decision to pitch. It was a very late development to kind of show some pro talent, but again, led to some coaching, led to some instruction, and led to great accomplishments in business. So I'm very grateful for the time at Norfolk State and the opportunities it afforded me.
For sure, we all got stories, man, and it all happens differently. Vic, I don't know, you or Smitty, who got the longer dreads, man? Who got the longer dreads? I don't know.
Smithrow, baby. Smithrow.
Smithrow got the longer dreads. They say Smithrow got them extensions in there. Smithrow done added something.
Stop that. Never listen. Everything here is homegrown. We twist it a little bit. So come on now.
So tell me this. Since you got the longer dreads, I'm gonna go over to you. I know VB, he got his thing, playing multiple sports too. But Smitty, how did the wrestling side of things help you develop on the baseball side, or did it have any help in developing you as a baseball player?
You went out a little bit. Say that the first part of the question.
How did the wrestling side help you develop as a baseball player?
Okay, so all my friends growing up from the hood, obviously started playing basketball at a young age, but I actually didn't wrestle on a team until high school. So I was around it my whole life. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't grow up like, I've been a wrestler and popped into it. It was just more so at that time. I believe it was going into my junior year. I mean, at this point, even from a younger age. But at this point, I kind of like, started seeing like people like scouts and stuff come to the games. And we had 2 other really good players. They're a year older than me. Todd Deininger, you know what I'm saying? He played for Team USA through like 98, ended up going to Texas A&M, I believe. And then Brandon Singh. I mean, he never made it to the big leagues, but God knows that dude would be in the big leagues still right now.
Freak of nature.
Yeah. But yeah, man, it just, I just feel like everything is kind of relative to the point to where, I mean, if you look back on certain things, wish you didn't have certain experiences, bring them into now. I think if you change any of those things, it doesn't bring us to the place where we are having these conversations about what did help you. You know what I'm saying? Who helped you? I knew that I wanted to play professional baseball from the moment I played my first game. And then I just ended up watching the White Sox, watch the Cubs, you know what I'm saying? Just people that you identify with. Frank Thomas was my favorite player growing up, you know what I mean? And again, like certain things that I didn't understand until I got a little bit older, and older as in like late in high school. Yeah. I felt like mentally I could be pushed a little bit harder, you know what I'm saying? So again, I respect everything that's going around me, but I felt like I wanted to be stronger, you know what I'm saying? But just kind of challenge myself, and that's what wrestling did, man. So just for life, again, if you for real, like we had one of the best wrestling teams in the state. We didn't win state, but we had a couple of state champs, and it's a discipline, man. You can go in there, you can warm up for 45 minutes jogging, and you get more tired in 2 minutes of wrestling. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And you're doing that 45 minutes. So the biggest thing I would say helped me with was discipline, because I've always been, made way more rights than wrong and a good kid, but you also need some structure, and that's the part to where as a single mother raising me, a woman they can do almost anything, but they can never teach you how to be a man. So you fast forward, wrestling, and then run into you guys with the Pirates organization, and even till now, you know what I'm saying? You just continue to try to grow and just kind of just do what you do, man. Figure it out along the way.
Now, Vic, man, go ahead and give your take on the development as a ball player when it comes to you playing other sports. I don't know to what level you started giving up those other sports, but just speak on that whole development piece and just kind of tricking your body and training yourself to be, I guess, multifunctional, if I'm using the right phrase.
I got you. Before I jump into that, I just want to say Claudell was I know you're being humble, but this dude was a killer. He had that thing. So was Sean, and so was Cutting. I mean, Cutting, you played in the big league, so everybody got a chance to see you on TV. But I lived with Shane for a few years. I lived with Smitty for a few years. I had the honor of playing with Claudell. So league talk, you're looking at 4 killers, you know what I mean? And I never got a chance to really see it at our pinnacle. But these dudes, man, it was an honor playing with all of you guys, man. And just thinking about the memories and the time I spent with you guys, I'm getting goosebumps now. But just to jump into mine, I never really played another sport at a high level. I did play like organized basketball, organized football. But when it came to high school, I didn't play. I just played baseball, basically. I tried out for the football team. Come my 12th grade year, because all my boys that I grew up around, they were all football players. There weren't too many baseball players. You know what I mean? You had Ron Perry, he was with the Twins, so he kept me going. Then my buddy Rob, he played with high school ball with me. But other than that, you had like Gennaro, Eugene, my boy Charles Drake, rest in peace. Like Brandy Russell, rest in peace. All these dudes that I was around every day was straight football dudes. Rydell Givens. So I was around dudes that was always on the bench press.
Eugene, Childs.
You know what I mean? That dude was a monster. So I had the privilege of growing up around these dudes, and they actually they got me into like lifting weights. Because that's all football players do. Them dudes walk around like, you see your boy now. Quarles, what's your boy? Oh my goodness, he's huge.
Jason Quarles. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, you know what I mean? But I mean, that's how they do it around. Lifting weights, doing all these agility and doing all type of stuff. So I got a chance to hang around them. So I started playing like flag football with them, doing 7-on-7 type of things. We would live in a basketball gym. My guy Tony Bland, Jay Morris. So I was around basketball cats too. Everybody I hung around did not play baseball. Yeah. So being around those guys allowed me to see how athletic I really was. And I say that to say it's because, and I tell people this all the time, baseball players you really don't get a chance to see their athleticism, on a day-to-day basis, because, you may sit in the outfield and you may have a guy like Shane on the mound, Dylan, and the outfielder may not get one ball, you know what I mean? Or they may get one ground ball, and all you're doing is seeing their cutoff man getting it back to second base. So I was just telling my son, when it comes to all sports, it's easier to take a baseball player out of his realm and put them in a football or basketball, and they would succeed. It's hard to take. You cannot take a basketball player or a football player that never played baseball and put them on a baseball field. You know what I mean? Because half of them can't catch and throw, and the ones that can't catch and throw probably can't hit. So for me to go, I was able to dunk a basketball. I mean, I would run routes. I remember Eugene, not to call you out, Gino, I love you, but we were playing like a flag football game. They put Eugene on me to stick me. We didn't have pads on. You know what I mean? But I was just running by guys, catching balls one-handed. Like, it's just because for me, it was it came down to hand-eye coordination. Now, if I can run down a baseball with a glove, a small baseball with a glove, for sure I'm gonna be able to run down a football that's 5 times the size of a baseball, and I'm using 2 hands to catch it. I could do that. I could do that in my sleep. Yeah. So those little things allowed me to just to be the athlete I was on a baseball field. Because I think a lot of youth players right now, they tend to put all their eggs in one basket at an early age, and that's why you see more injuries nowadays. You may see like football players right now, if they're not playing tackle football year round, they're playing 7-on-7. So you see kids now at 14, 15 years old tearing the ACLs. You see kids. I coach college baseball right now. I have a couple of pictures that had Tommy John. You see these injuries, they're inflating because all they're doing is putting all their energy and effort into one sport. So I never did anything like that. I had a chance to be around multi-facet and played sports, and it allowed me to be athletic and allowed me to play baseball at a high level for a long time.
That's what's up, man. And being around those guys challenge you to do certain things. That's what it's all about. Nowadays, our kids, they don't do, it's definitely a dinosaur when you see kids go out there to play in the yard and do different things. They got these phones in their hand and these video games and stuff like that. So you don't see that a whole lot. That helps you develop maybe some mental toughness, some physical toughness, and just being competitive. Claudell, man, I know we pressed for time with you. Got a few more minutes, so I'm gonna flip it back to you and ask, everything you got in the game of baseball, you earned it because you didn't get that scholarship. You wasn't highly recruited. You later earned that scholarship in college at Norfolk State, pitched those last couple of years, got an opportunity to suit up for the Pirates and their minor league organizations. Hit the ground running, did fairly well. And like Vic said, yeah, you were a beast, dog, athletic, moved around, all of that stuff. But the one thing that kind of kept you, or kind of probably hampered your career, was the fact that you had no fat on your body. And I remember in spring training, they used to always tell you, hey, man, 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, go eat some wings and go to sleep. Like, just go eat some stuff. Let's get some fat on your body, Right. And we could laugh about it now, but it's crazy that you had to grind it out. And the fact that you were in too much shape, that really was the cause of you not being able to further your career, in the game of baseball as a pitcher. So speak on that, having, hit the ground running, feeling good about your professional career, thinking it's going to continue to climb. And then you have that injury that you just can't quite get over, whether it's a groin, whether it's an oblique, and all of those muscles where you needed some fat to kind of absorb things you did on the pitcher's mound. Just talk about that, briefly talk about that, and then talk about how it led you into going back to the alma mater, becoming the head baseball coach and athletic director.
Well, I think that certainly, I had this thing, and Coach Miller at Norfolk State again instilled it into us. And then I know Shane and Vic had these coaches. Look, man, you got to be 3 times as good, 4 times as good, 5 times as good. The scouts, they would go to an Old Dominion or William and Mary or Virginia Commonwealth or East Carolina or a UVA in our area. Great teams, great schools, not taking nothing away from them. But, at our place at Norfolk State, you instead of throwing 90, you had to be 92. Instead of throwing 92, you had to be 94. And, I would just run miles and miles and miles and do sit-ups and in my brain, I had to work so hard to get across that hump, man. Coach Miller would always point to the outfield. And he'd be like, just to get over that fence and play at Harbor Park and play at those different places, you just had to be in so much shape. So, I took it to heart, and then I don't regret it. I said, look, I'm going to be the most physical. I'm going to be the most in shape. I'm going to be the most accurate. I'm going to be the most balanced. And I still tell my students this to this day, because I couldn't know what Vic was going to look like. I couldn't know what Shane was going to look like. I couldn't know what Sean was going to look like. I couldn't know what Jose Bautista was going to look like. So in my mind, I was fighting this fighter I had no idea about. So I had to train as much as I possibly could, come up with every exercise I possibly could to get in this ring with these dudes who I had no idea about. We don't have the internet at that point. Hardly. We didn't have YouTube at that point. I didn't know what a Shane looked like. I didn't know what a first rounder looked like. I had no idea about this stuff. But I did know. I said, look, when I get in that fight, I'm going to be the best shape I can be. And I'm going to go toe-to-toe with these dudes. When I get to Florida or Bradenton or wherever they're going to send me, I had no idea about this stuff. I said, look, they're not going to outrun me. They're not going to outwork me. They're not going to outthrow me. They're not going to have better endurance than me. They're not going to be in better shape than I am. And these Vics and these Shanes and these first-round picks, whoever it is, I'm going to be toe-to-toe with these dudes. And I tell my students to this day, put yourself in position to win. If you win, you don't. If you don't, if you do, you do. If you don't, you don't. But guess what? You're not going to regret it. And I haven't regretted it one day to this day, man. Amen, so just getting that taste of a couple years in it. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sean.
No, I was saying amen to that. That's you. I respect.
I couldn't know what a Vic looked like. I couldn't know what a Shane Youman looked like. I didn't know what LSU looked like. I said, but guess what? They're going to be in better shape than me. No doubt. They're not going to have more endurance than me when I get there. I tell you that. They're not going to do more pull-ups than me. You know what I'm saying? Because I just didn't know. I didn't know what I was getting in the ring with.
Yeah.
So I had to be ready, man. But when I got there, I noticed, guess what? I can hang with Sean. I can hang with Shane. And we were talking friendly. I could hang with
sure.
Who's our guy with the Phillies? He retired. Big time hitter, left-handed hitter with the Phillies.
Talking about Ryan Howard.
Ryan Howard. We faced Ryan Howard up in Pennsylvania. I remember that. Guess what? We struck him out and took him down. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't know what these dudes were made of, but I had to be ready. So long story short, the career got cut short. All things happen for a reason. The groin could have held up, and I could have pitched with Shane, or I could have pitched, played with Vic a little longer. But it was good timing. Came back to Norfolk State, got the head coaching job. Fast forward, Lord blessed with 12 great years, and it put me in a position to achieve on the highest levels of business in this region, our Mid-Atlantic region. And it's allowed me to open up doors for hundreds, if not thousands, Black and white young professionals, not just Black and white. I care about all of them. And, to me, to be able to have a taste of pro ball with you guys and to be able to do that, hey, it's not so bad when you look at it that way. Yeah. So been blessed to be able to do a little bit of both and to be able to look back and say, hey, look, I'm a pro ball player with these guys. And, didn't have a dime. I had to get in Shane's car to go to Walmart. and Walter Young had to use his cell phone to call home. God bless his soul.
R.I.P. Big Walter.
Big Walter.
God bless him, Walter. Had to use his phone and then get in the car with Shane to go to Walmart. But it's one of those things to where, thank God for that side of it, and then thank God for this side of it, and to be blessed to be able to have both of those. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that.
Definitely, man. We definitely appreciate you. I know family calls, man, and all of us got families, but I'm saying, I know you got a role. We appreciate you hopping on and sharing that story. You could have sulked, that injury and not getting that opportunity with another team, or the Pirates not wanting to wait on you to get you healthy. You could have sulked, but you took advantage of that, went back to the crib and started instilling those life lessons that you learned on the baseball field and pro ball, the relationship that you built, the time that you spent with the Pirates, and instilling that in your students and your ball players, and even taking it to another level now and instilling some of those same things into professionals that you deal with on a daily basis. So, Claudell, man, CC, bro, I appreciate you. Lil CC, I'll call you. We appreciate you hopping on.
You're rolling and you're strolling.
Exactly, man. I appreciate you, man, and we're going to have to get you back on again. I know you got to take off, but I'm going to have a little fun with my homeboys right here, man, until we shut this thing down. But much love to you, bro. Continued success, man, and hopefully we get you back on here for an extended period of time.
Sean, God bless you and your family. Vic, same thing. What I'm saying? If I could leave anything, what I'm saying? When it's great when you win the championships. It's great when you end season. It's great when you're on the podcast. But, when it's not so great, what I'm saying? Keep grinding, keep impressing upon those young men about what it is they need to do and moving in the right direction. You will be eternally blessed for helping those just less fortunate and those who are coming up the pipeline. You guys already know that, man. Just reassurance. Keep doing your thing. Shane, I appreciate you.
Sure, man. Thank you, bro.
That, man.
Thank you.
For real.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Later, bro.
So just like you guys know, I mean, as far as the grind goes, one injury, one slip up, you might not have a job. Like our boy Claudell, wasn't invested. A lot of money wasn't invested in him when the Pirates signed him. So he wasn't able to get healthy in time enough. Next man up, it was tough for him because of that simple fact, not being a prospect coming in. Had all the talent to be the prospect, had all the drive to be a big leaguer, but that one injury that slowed him up ended up being a cause of him not having that long, extended, whether it be a minor league or big league career. But we still got two fellas on the podcast. We're going to chop it up and talk about their journeys. Vic, man, you had an interesting journey. You said your dad kind of put you in place and told you were embarrassing the family name. Buttler with 2 T's. You need to shape up and get your shit together. And you did that because you ended up going to an SEC school out of high school, even though you got drafted. You ended up going to an SEC school, Arkansas. At the time, big time prospects over there playing in a tough division, in the Western Division, and the whole conference in itself. So how did all of that, how did that talk with your dad ended up turning into an opportunity to play for a big time SEC program in Arkansas?
Well, the SEC opportunity came up out of high school. Again, going back to what I was saying earlier about growing up around football and basketball guys. In high school, baseball's always been about fun for me. I can't remember right now, not one time looking back, me saying it out and putting it out in the universe or talking or telling my mom or my dad or my cousin or my sister that I wanted to play in the big leagues or I wanted to get drafted. You hear that all the time. When I coached high school baseball a few years ago at Westchester High School, I had to write an essay about what they wanted from baseball. And everybody in the essay said they wanted to get to the big leagues and make a lot of money and make it rain. When I was in high school, I never thought about the big leagues. You know what I mean? I never thought about getting drafted. I played baseball because it was fun. Football, playing flag football and touch football was fun. I was the type of person, I didn't like getting hit. When it was time to put those pads on, football wasn't fun for me.
That's why I quit playing football.
Yeah, that's a violent sport. So all my football guys out there, it's a lot of monsters out there. Salute, you know what I mean? But it's different strokes for different folks. I was a baseball guy. It was fun for me. It kept me out of trouble. I had the opportunity. I was blessed to get drafted out of high school. I got drafted. It was maybe like 33rd round or 38th round, 39th round. It was so long ago by the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah.
My scout, his name was Chuck Fick. Chuck Fick is actually still around. Last time I saw Chuck was at area codes at Long Beach State. I think Chuck was with the Giants, I believe. And Chuck also drafted Coco Crisp. So Chuck, he was like, man, when I see you play, you're not a household name, but you're like a diamond in a rough type of player. You know what I'm saying? You have all the physical attributes it takes to play big league baseball. You could run, you could throw, you can hit, you can field, you got the baseball IQ. And he was like, I took a chance on you, but I want you to go play Division I baseball. So he simply got on the phone, made a phone call to Norm DeBryan, who was a head coach at University of Arkansas at the time. And he said, I got this kid out here on the West Coast. I know you guys never seen him play. You never heard of him. You don't have any video on him, but take my word for it. He can play. So I was still 17 years old. I didn't sign with the Cardinals. They shipped me out to Arkansas. And that was my first time, I want to say, leaving home. Like, it was my first time being in the country. Like, my father's side of the family, they're Mexican. So I went to Mexico. I was baptized in Mexico when I was about 11 years old. But other than that, I went to San Diego, I went to Las Vegas, but I never really traveled like that. I've been in New Orleans with my dad to Mardi Gras, but I was like 10. I didn't know what was going on. So that was my first time as a young adult, leaving the home, leaving the nest. And I was at Arkansas University, and I went over there. I didn't know what to expect, but I did know that we were competitive. All of us are competitors. That's why we played baseball for so long at a high level, because it doesn't matter. You guys remember being in those clubhouses playing Uno or playing Pluck, or playing whatever the game was. You wanted to win. You wanted to be the best. You know what I mean? So I went out to Arkansas, and I knew I was going out to compete. And I did it at such a high level, man. I blew myself away. It allowed me to realize what I could really be in the sport of baseball. When the Cardinals drafted me, I was running like a 6.68. About time, I went to Arkansas in August. We had like our little like combine thing in December, right before we went out for Christmas break. I went from 6.68. They got me on a AccuTrack. I was at a 6.38. You know, and that was just from all the training and all the circuits and everything that was put me through. The first time I ever threw up from lifting weights was at the University of Arkansas. You know, I thought something was wrong with me. Like my roommate at the time was Jeff Fletcher from San Diego. And I got back to my dorm. We were working about 5 a.m. I'm like, Jeff, something's wrong. I'm throwing up blue liquids. He's like, bro, that's Powerade. We had Powerade during our circuits. I'm like, oh, we did. But that was the first time in my life I ever worked that hard to become better. So because Shane, you know that at LSU, you know those workout regimens are just they're different. So I got to Arkansas. I had a guy, remember a lot of these guys' names because you know they're really good dudes, man. I was the only black dude on the team. But they took me under their wing. I had David Walling. He was
that's what I remember. David Walling. He was the first round.
Walling. I had Dan Wright. He was there. I had this a cat named Jack Welsh. Jack Welsh was going to be the center fielder. He was a junior at the time. They ended up moving Jack Welsh to first base to make room in center field for me. I was going to be a starting center fielder as a freshman. You know what I mean? And I remember I was facing this guy named Kevin Vint. He had a really good fastball. He was a shorter guy, but he had a really good fastball. And he threw me up and in, and I tried to take the pitch, and then that's when I broke my hand. I broke the hook of the hammock bone, and they put me in a cast for about 6 to 8 weeks. They took the cast off. The bone was still broken. They got an MRI, and they said, hey, you need surgery. And I ended up having surgery, so I ended up missing that season. Came back home, played American Legion baseball by UC Santa Barbara, but again, my parents, you know, they were always supportive, but they didn't have the resources to finance it at that age. You know, my dad didn't have his own business at that age. So I went to Arkansas on a 60% scholarship, so I still owed them 40%, which we didn't have that 40% to pay them. So Arkansas wanted me to come back, but I didn't want to go back. It was out of state too. So what they did was they said, well, if you're not going to come back, we're going to hold your transcripts. So immediately I was unable to transfer to another 4 year. So I became through the clearinghouse, it became a 4.24 transfer. So that's how I ended up back at El Camino instead of going to a 4 year. And I just went to the El Camino for a year. I balled out, man. I had a great fall. I ended up being a preseason All-American. Led the conference in triples. I ended up being a postseason All-American. And I got drafted by the Pirates by Mike Kendall, which is Jason Kiddle's brother. He said, man, you're a diamond in the rough. You can find a barrel. If you can find a barrel with that aluminum back consistently, I know you can find a barrel with the wood. And he took a risk on me, man. And from there, that's when I started writing my story with the Pittsburgh Pirates, man. So it's been a journey, man. I can sit up here and talk to you. You know, you have to do 2 or 3 shows.
Now we gotta save some of those gems because you know we gotta be able to share. We gotta be able to share the wealth with Brother Shabbat. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And Smitty, we know he was chasing that move. That's why he went back to the West Coast. He wasn't focused on baseball. He said it earlier. He was in love. He had a high school sweetheart. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you're a married man now, but we're talking about in 1998, 1999. His dad got on his ass.
You're very accurate.
His dad got on his ass because he was all in love. He wasn't focused in that hammock. He couldn't get out the way because he was thinking about his old lady at the time. So don't let him.
Yes.
We're not gonna let you fool us, dog. We're not gonna let you fool us. But
that's pretty accurate. That's pretty.
Smitty, you know.
Oh, man. You've always been a smart man.
Boy.
So, but
hey, what you said earlier, hey Shay, that's for a different discussion, brother.
For sure. But I'm saying that's part of the story. That's you said is a journey. That's part of the journey, and part of the story. Shit. We can't leave that out.
It is.
You ain't naming no names.
You're right.
Nah, that's what I'm saying. That's 20 plus years ago. Andrea, you reminiscing. We know what it is for the last decade plus. You know what I'm saying? It's all love. But we all got stories and we got to tell it. You know what I'm saying? We got to tell it.
So, she know.
Exactly.
No, she know.
So, Smitty, you took a different route though, man. You know, you were doing the wrestling thing. You said how it developed you with the discipline side of things, and you moseying along through high school. But I mean, you ended up signing what was that turning point for you on the baseball field where it was like you see these scouts at the time they got their Tommy Bahamas on with their hats and shit at the games? Like when did you see that? When did you see that that opportunity for you starting to come? Was it your junior year? Was it your senior year? Was it a summer situation? Talk about that.
I mean, honestly, I knew when I was a kid, but as a full formed understanding, probably going into my junior year, just because of, again, bless my mother, but she don't know to this day nothing about baseball. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't really, again, I had an older cousin that played, but he played, I was 9, he was 10, and that was it. But I ended up being like, you know, first generation for a lot of things. And then growing up, like I said, in the hood, a lot of my friends played up until they was 12, 13, you know what I'm saying? Most of them end up in the streets. I mean, and my brothers to this day, you know, they taught me things that I didn't know, and vice versa as we kept growing. But when the scouts would come and see Brandon Singh and Todd Deininger, right? So when I was a junior, they were seniors, and they both, like I said, ended up getting drafted. But me, I always felt like, not so much that I was overlooked, but I love baseball so much. I just wanted to, like, I want to be against their best dude. And more times than not, I would do good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it was more so like when I was a kid, a child, I always knew what I wanted to do and also like what I could do. I didn't know like the steps of things, but I just felt like so much of me just loving to play baseball. Like it's literally, I just wanted to play, whether it was my friends, I played by myself, nonstop. And then once I started getting little letters in the mail, I would get some from schools. Because again, I got drafted at 17 years old. I went to like 12 different schools growing up. Most people don't even know that. You know what I'm saying? Again, you look at it now, I don't think it was a bad thing. It sounds crazy, but I just felt like it just prepared me for life, period. But I was filling out the little college questionnaires, and I started going to these little showcases and stuff, and then started getting letters from everybody else except for the Pirates. Not everybody, not all 30 teams, but scouts, you know, wanted to know if I would stay after and hit and throw and things like that. And then going into my senior year, and this had, you know, the Pirates hadn't popped up once. Going into my senior year, first time I had ever been on the plane. Thank you to my Uncle Jeffrey. You know, he's the one that allowed me to even make that trip. You know what I'm saying? First time I ever been on a plane. I got down there, played for U.S. national team, Roberto Clemente All-Stars. So, you know, much love and respect to that whole organization, to the name, to their spirit, their soul, all of that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's part of our roots as well. Roberto Clemente got to play at the stadium, Old San Juan. We got to play in some backyards of some Puerto Ricans, just against some of the best. And I ended up doing really well down there. But it was a Pirate scout at the time. I forget his name, but he ended up being the coach of that team. And I think the record, I hit like 800. Like for real. It was like some Puerto Rican dude that was a coach for the other team after the game. Like, I thought it was bullshit, but he was for real. He was trying to get me to stay down there, trying to hook me up with his daughter. Yeah, I swear to God, bro.
Put you in the academy.
Like for real. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So all of that came just from the love of baseball and me just feeling like I could do something, and ended up getting back to, started, I was right before high school. Once my senior season started, the Pirates popped up a little bit, and then they just, Tom Barnard from the Midwest, he ended up drafting me. He wasn't the coach down there in Puerto Rico, but anyway, man,
he got word.
Right. So, put 2 and 2 together. And again, I felt like I was going to get drafted, but on draft day, I didn't even know when draft day was. Like I said, Marsh Sopko, my homeboys, they put us out. I was watching them play baseball, just continuing the state tournament. And then Daryl Jenkins got drafted by the Expos, who are no longer. He's like, yeah, man. He was like, such and such and such and such. It's like, congratulations, you just went the 15th round to the Pirates. I'm like, what? Had no idea, bro. You know what I'm saying? But it was just, I was a kid, and it wasn't so much, again, I wasn't thinking about like being famous or having money. I just wanted to ball for, wanted to play with the White Sox. And, I did get an opportunity, minor league Rule 5 to them during my career, for doing that. So again, whether we made it to the big leagues or not, and obviously, you have, you know what I'm saying? So we, the grind of before and after, you know what I'm saying? It just, the love of baseball, the love of life, still continuing to do things after our careers, you know what I'm saying? Being more than the athlete, all those things have brought us into today. So I wouldn't change nothing. No experience has a price tag. You know what I'm saying? So let's just say there was things that you and Victor knew. just by having, you know, a little bit older, more seasoning, maybe more focus in certain ways, still coming from the same good place. I'm gonna hear it and still understand, but I'm gonna understand it differently going through it. You know what I'm saying? That's where you can reverse those roots. So again, I just felt like at a young age and understanding on my inside, humbly speaking, from God, thank God. So anything I say, I know is you know, is God, Allah, Buddha, whatever, male, female, whatever one is taught, whatever your higher power is. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I just I've always followed that, man. I mean, and you guys can tell now at 38, but I still be trying to get you to play ball or this or that. But I also understand, and this is where I want y'all to know, Sugar Shane, I mean, and Victor, for the people that don't know, you know, again, we all together with the Pirates organization, and there's a documentary coming out from the soul of the game. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to E-Jack, that's my homeboy, another king.
Victor, get him on a podcast. I gotta get Edwin Jackson on a podcast.
For sure. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the greatest beings on earth, for real.
He's a legend,
on like for real, on and off. So
one of the founding fathers of the Players Alliance too, right? One of the founding fathers of the Players Alliance too. Shout out to E-Jack.
Yes, sir.
Either one. And I want, you know, E-Jack and a whole bunch of other people to get their flowers. And just to touch on that real quick, he set the record for the most Major League Baseball teams ever played for, right? But
I got a lot of jerseys.
Exactly. But to the mainstream media, they'll spin it off like being a journeyman or having that many jerseys is a bad thing. No, there's 30 fucking, excuse my language.
Hey, we can use that. We can cuss on the League Talk podcast, dog. You ain't got to hold your tongue.
It's 30 Major League Baseball teams, right? And the percentage of the world for playing professional baseball is 3%. So damn it, I'm talking to 97% of the world. If 30 teams want to give you a jersey, it's a blessing 30 times. Don't ever let nobody tell you it's a bad thing, this, that, and third. At the end of the day, like, you can't control everything, but understand, most of us on this earth will never even have an opportunity to put that big league jersey on for a day, a second, let alone like for that many years. So again, when it comes to knowing your worth, earning it, having to go through certain things, you can't just speak up and say, I mean, you can, but certain things are gonna be taken in certain ways. But when we all are like weaved in together, come from the same place, that becomes, let's just say, a responsibility of mine. So when it comes to creating things and natural things, sometimes stuff on this earth hadn't happened yet. So during this process, I mean, how long ago, Sugar Shane, before you started this podcast, I told you I was gonna come mess with you and put you on the camera. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a real thing. So that don't mean life stops in between. You know what I'm saying? You're a father now. You weren't a father even when I started this. You know what I'm saying? Married now. We're all, you know, these are a few years into it. Vic will tell you. And shout out to B. Waddy and Team Watson and Sam Watson and Marcus Watson, all of them. That's BB's brothers, and you know, they became family to me. We got, you know, some stuff on camera too, and it's hindsight is 2020 is great for everybody. But when you know something, there's a difference between thinking and knowing. You know what I'm saying? I always knew I had other things to do, bigger things, and I've always been good at. Again, yes, nobody's life is perfect, but I've always made everybody around me better. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Or a person attempted to. You know what I'm saying? So here we are, man, and I'm proud of you too, Sugar. You know what I'm saying? I done seen you. Hey, just so y'all out there don't get it twisted. I know Sugar Shane he don't be talking that. You know, he's not a huge personality, but he's smart. He locked in, and that motherfucker can pitch. I tip my cap. You done carved me up a few times. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate that.
I try to get your ass, and you know what I'm saying? I mean, but you have to go through those things. I never gave up on myself. You know what I'm saying? But you know, you was beating me up here at the times. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it was stuff, but I'm also I'm a fair critic. Like, yo, I'll tip my cap to you too. I'm gonna get you, but you know what I'm saying? Real, recognize real.
Yeah,
we here.
I appreciate it.
Years later, man. So all of this right here.
Gotta keep cats like you and VB off the bases, dog.
You know what I'm saying? Hey,
so for me, for me as a pitcher, I hated facing guys that could run. So, you know, you get your 3, 4, 5 hole guys. You know what they're there to do. Your 1, 2 hole guys, even sometimes your 9 hole guy, occasional 3 hole guy that can run. But 1, 2, and 9. Those are most of the guys that can run and play the small ball or whatever. You guys had a little mixture of speed and power, but I didn't want you on the base and shit, because now I got to worry about taking second, taking third, and just causing some havoc. And now I'm losing focus on what's the most important thing. That's that hitter that's in the box. I leave something up. It's a 2-run homer, 3-run homer, because y'all doing what y'all doing on the bases. But and I know you have a thought, Smitty, but part of that too, just having those tools and knowing yourself and being able to play the game at a high level. Both of you guys getting drafted the same year, and maybe you could feed off of Smitty, or maybe you can do the same thing, Vic. But despite having those skills, that skill set, you were in right place, right time when you got drafted. You got offered scholarships, but they always say right place, right time to play in the big leagues. Why you guys think it was so tough and so much of a grind for either one of you to get to that level of Major League Baseball, even though you had everything from a physical standpoint, from a mental standpoint, you had what it took to play at that level?
BB, can I take let me make one point and then you can take it over, and then
go ahead, take it first. Go ahead, go with it first.
Okay, just because I'm glad Sugar Shane said that. All those things that you were just explaining, those with guys that can run, right? There's value there. It's not just, oh, they're fast, this, that, and the third. It's a lot of things. As you picture, you just literally formed a picture for the people that are listening, right? So when you have something that can't be, you can't put that into a number that can't be quantified. Victor Buttler, you may see 280 or 260. That don't mean his effect on the game is not as much as somebody hits 400. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He one of the best outfitters. The only reason why I became great, yes, great, worked for it, at being defense or on defense and outfield is because of Vic. That's the original goal. And it brings you back to my point of what I was saying about just that speed there. So if you watch Major League Baseball for the last, let's just say 4 or 5 years, they stopped making people run because running was what? It was devalued. It wasn't a thing. Yeah. Oh, there's no place for it. Everybody wants to hit home runs. Now you see, you can't just hit home runs. For the ones that do, tip my cap to you. But now they are literally, so when it's something that, like you just said, that is a tool, something that is God-given and you can work on it and get better, but that has to play. I played game-wise, I played faster when I'm gonna run a 60, and you know what I'm saying? With the elite, period. And that just comes through, just learning things, trying things, doing things in the game, but also believing in yourself. But part of the reason you just asked, like, why do we think certain things are so hard? Major League Baseball is just showing us that baseball, this real aspect of the game, you know what I'm saying? Where you're running and putting pressure and creating runs. I've been 6 for 6 in the game, and I've been 0 for 5 with 3 strikeouts, 3 bags, and 3 runs scored. You're gonna tell me my game wasn't just as bad? So I understand those things. So when you have, especially in our era, Vic can tell you, I'm an energy dude, or people that, really your teammates feed off of that. When they telling you do it the right way and that's the wrong way, but fast forward to now, they want everybody to get geeked. When you get chastised for things that are, you know what I'm saying? So that's my point now. So now baseball is literally trying different rules now, so people start running again. What about the people that sacrifice their life and their career because you told them that super tool that y'all literally are changing the rules of the game for to promote guys to run more? Now it's important again. So more times than not, once we find out that the truth about things, it's taken 4 or 5 years. We may not get that opportunity, you know what I'm saying? Because we think it's one thing and it's not. So now running is now a new thing. They want people to do it more. But for the last 4 or 5 years, you've had people, not just myself, but people that really are, or they play ball, you know what I'm saying? They play professional baseball, their dreams and aspirations, selling out to these things just for you to tell them, like, nah, that shit ain't cool no more. Do this. You can't do that. And now, you know what I'm saying? So you're chasing a white rabbit at times. And until that wool is, like this, you don't get it. And a lot of times you get that after the fact. So it is really important that we are here today and you making those points. So, I'm passionate with it.
I know you are. And we're going to feed off that. And I'm going to turn over to Vic because I know we talking a little bit, Brother Shabbat, but we the dark-skinned brothers, so we got a light-skinned brother. We might get in trouble. We might get in trouble for being like for being a little prejudiced.
Let's go, Victor Buttler.
But you say this though, and Vic, you can feed off it and kind of give your spiel on why you think it was so difficult for you. And I know you suffered an injury at a time you started to kind of peak and turn that corner as a ball player, mature from the whole aspect of playing ball. But you made a great point, Smitty, when they're talking about, and I guess the term now is let the kids play, right? That's the one thing that they're preaching now. And I think Mookie Betts is trying to bring the running game back to baseball slowly but surely. He's starting to do that and mix his power and his hitting for average and starting to take those bags again. So hopefully it continues to snowball. But your point and what I get in the grand scheme of it all, when I asked you the question about why was it so difficult for you to play or get that opportunity at the big league level, what I took from what you said, it was because you weren't allowed to be yourself, fully be yourself. Am I right or wrong about that?
I'm sure that's part of it. I definitely wouldn't say it's just one thing. Maybe, at 17, 18 for sure, like in my heart, my mind, I was ready, but I wasn't ready. I was still learning the game. But I'll tell you this, by the time I was 23 years old,
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. It's just
that's what I'm saying. Not necessarily when you were 17 or 18, but
right.
You broke it. You got up to AA and was starting to see yourself flourish and do certain things. And just like you said, it's like, oh no, we don't want you to do this. You got to do that. So I'm asking that question. You wasn't able to fully be yourself at the time where you were a phone call away from being a Major League Baseball player. That was the point that I was trying to.
Yes, and I say that again, not down, putting a finger down to anybody, because it's respect. Thank you, Pittsburgh Pirates, for drafting me. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, like, I'm always represent the game. The people around it change. So the ones that were going about things the wrong way, taking advantage of, young men, however that may be, you know what I'm saying? Being true to the game of baseball is always gonna, provide you with the right stuff. So when things are lacking, y'all literally are having to change the game from taking some of the soul out of people. You know what I'm saying? You don't get that time back. So for the Negro leagues that are now like, they're getting credit, from MLB, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's such a monumental thing, because most of these people aren't here no more. You know what I'm saying? And they got pushed to the side solely, not nothing else, not even onto the business side, just because they was Black, just like us. So I know Victor remembers on a conversation we had as an organization, our first year playing pro ball. You know what I'm saying? And you can hear some elders, some respected people in the game telling us, hey, there's certain things you can't do. There's certain people you can't be around, and you don't understand these things when literally in real life, some of your best friends are Hispanic or white. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't even come from that, but really understanding, like, what this game is about does take a lot of years. And once you become understanding and surrender to who you really are, you know what I'm saying? Like, and your purpose here, I got around, I was taken advantage of, right? And I'm not saying, it shouldn't have been that way. I wouldn't change anything, if the sacrifices, there's a price to pay on earth. You know what I'm saying? What we go through is better for our kids and other people after. So I'm grateful to be in this position. But once I realized it wasn't like, hey, do it like this, do it like that. And I just started being myself. Yeah. And fully seeing, you know what I'm saying? I was able to speak up on certain things. And then once I was in the same room with some really important people, like some of the owners, I spoke the truth, and they understood that the part that they were being wrong at, like my protection, my energy, like where I come from was they couldn't control that no more. So I wasn't just out here just talking. Let's just say I was a disgruntled employer, mad. If I was mad, I have a right to be, but I wasn't. Period. I just knew that I had I'm going to keep going. You think you can knock me down? I'm going to keep going. And to this day and continue, it's always going to be like that. So I would say some things that I didn't know, so I had to mature just in the game. It is a business as well. If you're not wanted or needed, in an organization, I know Victor Buttler ain't going to tell you, but whether we talk about it now or later, or if we want to have it in there, whether you edit this part out or not, we don't have to name the names, but just off of criteria, right? BB got voted as the organizational player of the year. But when they don't put in every single one of them dudes, your career is different, even if it is, you know what I'm saying? But because of business, we won't say no names.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I was that same year.
Because of business, Victor Buttler is, his stuff was a little bit different.
That same year, Shane was voted the pitcher of the year, and I was
exactly.
It was the same year.
Exactly, but not. Officially, but you know what I'm saying? So that's the part that I know you're not going to say, humbly speaking, and it's not too, it's not, I think it's worse for us not to speak up on that, because your life and your career,
we probably, and it's fine. We out the game and we still have some skin in it when you look at certain things. And VB,
I'm just letting you know.
Yeah, of course. And
I want to be respectful to your podcast. You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes we gonna have uncomfortable conversations. That's what it's all about. I'm giving you guys a voice right now, so don't worry about that whole thing. And I know I know me and you going back and forth, but we got in, and maybe that's a segue to Vic talking about how hard it was for him. But that same year, yeah, me and Vic were. I mean, I didn't know it until Vic told me.
Exactly. That's a segue for. There you go, VB.
Of course. And at the end of the day, the day that they did the ceremony, I started that game in the big leagues. You know what I'm saying? I was the starting pitcher that game in the big leagues. That the same day they did the ceremony.
You already know what it is.
So you know, to let Vic go ahead and shed some light on what made it difficult for him. And guess what, Smitty? Vic, it didn't even fucking dawn on me because I was locked in to finish off the season on a high note at the big league level. So
yeah,
you told me Vic was the one that told me that we were both voted minor league player of the year. This mug set the record for triples in AA and did his thing. And myself, you know, I don't want to go over stats, but it was a crazy season for me. And the guy that got it, I'm not gonna say no names. He spent half the year in the minor leagues, numbers wise, wins, ERA. It wasn't my fault that I had to start the season in AA. You know, and I started the season in AA, and they threw me in the bullpen. I had to earn my way back into the rotation. So. And then here it is, I make it up to the big league. So it wasn't my fault to where I was assigned. So, but Vic, man, and for me, it's a different story. I'm gonna share my story one of these days. But Vic, just talk about it, man, because Smitty shed some light on your career and the things you were able to do. I did the same thing, but you know, you're moving along, you get drafted, you sign, you hit the ground running. And we know 14, 15 round, they give you a little money, but they still have some of those guys within the organization that they have pegged as that prospect. Why do you think your road was real difficult? And we know the injury kind of stopped things, but you should have been in the big leagues in 2006 as well. Why do you think it was so tough for you to get your just due and earn that spot on the big league roster?
Or before I get into that, I just want to, if you don't edit that part out, I just want to, because people probably.
I'm not gonna edit that part. Why?
Okay. Fuck it. Well, let me let the listeners know how I knew, because they're like, if you guys got voted minor league player of the year, and you didn't get that award, how did you know? I received phone calls from multiple coaches that voted for Shane and I, congratulating myself on that award. You know, so maybe those phone calls were a little premature, but They were in the room when they did the voting, and we actually the vote it was hands down. We had the most votes.
The numbers spoke for themselves.
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
The
numbers spoke for themselves. But so that's how I knew about that part. I really, only my close guys know that. I don't go around. I'm not the type of guy to go around throwing that out there. You know what I mean? You guys know. But now whoever listens, they know now that 2006 Shane and I were both voted minor league player of the year, and that was an honor that we never got a chance to receive, but it is what it is. For me, the whole big league thing, man, and you said that when you said I hit the ground running, I didn't actually. When I came into Bradenton, Florida, like Claudell said earlier, man, I didn't know what to expect. Like my scout, when he drafted me, came to my house. He offered me an X amount of dollars, and I was like, no, I'm not going to sign for a little of nothing. So he finally got up to a number to where I agreed to. So I actually signed maybe like 3 weeks to a month late. So instead of sending me straight to Williamsport, Pennsylvania, which is a New York Penn League where most college guys go or high level high school guys go, they sent me to Bradenton, Florida. And when I got there, it wasn't what my scout, the picture he painted, because we all have our imagination. When somebody's telling you a story, you're painting your own picture. I'm thinking I'm going to this glorious, this big luxury place. He was telling me we got ping pong, video games.
Pirate City.
Yeah, Pirate City. So now guys, and you younger guys, it's not the Pirate City of today. Now I heard that's a very nice complex. We're talking about old Pirate City. So when I got there, I was like, whoa, where am I? So I came up there. I saw a whole bunch of guys, saw a whole bunch of brown skin, what I thought was brown skin black dudes. I'm like, hey, what's up, fellas? I'm from LA. What we doing tonight? They like, que lo que? Donde, where you from? Donde está? Donde eres? I'm like, what y'all, what? So I'm like, I don't know what Dominicans are, what Venezuelans are, what Panamanians are, but we all look alike. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and some of my best friends now are Dominicans and Panamanians and Venezuelans and Puerto Ricans. And like I said, my grandmother's Hispanic, so it's not a race thing. It was a culture shock. You know what I mean? I didn't know what was going on, where I was at. So that was the first thing I had to do. I had to get adjusted to my new environment, because I'm the type of person where I can't thrive if I'm not comfortable. You know what I mean? I have to be comfortable. I have to be comfortable in my environment and the people I'm around. I'm the type of person to where I don't trust is earned with me. I'm not the type of person. It's not a benefit of the doubt type of thing with me. You know what I'm saying? And that's why you guys are still part of my lives now, because once you get into my circle, it's for life. You know what I mean? So with Pirate City, I had Smithrow, I had Big Walt, I had Shane, JJ Davis, Jeremy Hartz, Lomac when he was there, Cockrell. I had Jose Bautista. I had my boy Brandon Chavez, Jeff Kembringer. We had a nice little core group of guys that we hung around. Rajay Davis,
Right.
Claudell. We had some dudes, man. I mean, so it was a cool. I started being comfortable. But I remember, and I was telling Woody, I was there for like 9 days. My first like 7-8 games or 7-8 days. And they put me in a game. I didn't get a hit. Like I was like 0 for my first 11. They're looking like, who is this dude? I finally got a hit. The very next day, I was like 0 for like 14 or something in rookie ball. The very next day, they called me. Woody called me like, you're going to Williamsport. So I went to Woody. I was like, if you guys see Woody or Woody, I said, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I want to stay here. He like, what? I said, I don't want to go to Williamsport because I got comfortable. Yeah. He like, you're the first person ever. He made a joke about it. He started telling, like, even when I was in AA, he would say, you Vic Buttler, come here. He started telling this guy, this guy. He started telling rookie ball guys. I had him for 7 days for a week. He told me when he got called up that he didn't want to go. You're the first guy ever in history. You know what I mean? But again, now I got to go start all over. Yeah. You know what I mean? So they shipped me to Williamsport, and I think I hit like 298 that year. And again, Sean knows, you guys know, I can run, but I didn't like taking chances. Like I didn't like getting thrown out. I was real like strategic with things. So I went 10 for 10 in stolen bases. I didn't get thrown out one time. You know what I mean? And I could have probably went 20 for 20, but I just didn't like running. So Big Walt was my guy. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace. That's why I hung out. He was my rock. Like, and for you minor league guys that are coming up now, you gotta have somebody, and you gotta have a support system outside of your family. You got a support system that's with you in the trenches. These guys that are online right now with me, with a few other, like Jose Bautista. You know what I'm saying? Like, Youman ended up being this big time elite superstar. He got known for this bat flip in a big time situation. But we went through the trenches with that dude. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And when I talk about the trenches, like we got shovels. We dug the trenches before we even got in them. We dug them ourselves. You feel me? And then we got into the trenches and went to war. So I mean, I had to get some guys that I knew that had my back. You feel me? Because you out there, and I learned there's always, it's like crab in a barrel mentality. Like guys are always trying to, bring you down to put themselves up. Because guess what, guys? Every year there's a whole new few busloads of draftees coming in, and they're coming in to take your position. You know what I'm saying? So you had to find a way to keep your job and to continue to play and to keep leveling up. And we all know that if you weren't drafted in the first 5 rounds, you may not make it to that next year. You know what I'm saying? If you're not doing what you're supposed to do and they invest a whole bunch of money into you, you may not make it to that next year. So for me, and I don't like to speak for other men, but I was in the trenches with Sean. I was in the trenches with Shane. We were the type of players, we had to not only come to the door and knock at the door, and knock at the door with our numbers and with our play and with our baseball IQ. We had to come in and kick that motherfucker down. We kicked doors in. Like, hey, I'm Vic Buttler. I'm Sean Smith. I'm Shane Youman. And we did it with our play. We did it with how we handle ourselves off the field. You can look up, go Google Sean Smith right now or Shane Youman right now. You're not gonna see domestic violence. You're not gonna see no fights at the club. You're not gonna see no jail time. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of dudes we were. And I believe that's why we had a chance to stay around. You know what I mean? Like when Andrew McCutcheon came into the system, or these younger guys came into the system, they wanted them around us. Why? Because they knew we were going to be good role models and we're going to keep those dudes out of trouble. You know what I'm saying? So my journey was, it became tough when, I got to the higher levels, and my brother, this is my brother, Brandon Watson, man. I watched this dude grind. I watched this dude right now. You guys Google Brandon Watson.
B. Waddy, shout out B. Waddy.
B. Waddy, shout out to my brother, Brandon Watson. You guys Google that dude. He's a hit king. This guy still holds the AAA record until today. You know what I mean? And when I was just following this dude. Like I seen this dude on the sports on the tracker. Everybody used to make fun of me because every time like, oh, Watson, I would get up like, oh, let's go Waddy. Like I'm all in the screen. Like, oh, I'm like, come on, man. Like, you know, I don't know.
Because he wore 00 and all of it.
Yeah. 00. He was a killer. He's a killer. You know what I mean? So I'm following him on the tracker. You know what I'm saying? When his record finally ended, you know, I was like, okay, he's going to the big leagues. You know, he called me, he's in the big leagues. You know, he telling me everything. Like I'm talking to y'all. He like, man, Vic, I can roll around. And I think that was even his first time in the big leagues. He was already in the big leagues. You know, he made the big league team out of spring training with the Nationals. But, you know, he would share these stories with me. Man, I could roll around in my king size bed, super king size, whatever it is, in time. I don't have a roommate. You know what I'm saying? They gave me a per diem for the whole 6-day road trip. I got about $1,800 in my pocket to eat with. I'm only eating, you know what I'm saying? And they feed you guys, you know what I mean? So he telling me all these big league stories. I'm still going. But at the same time, I'm seeing how they doing my guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, they're not giving him the chance that he deserves. And I see guys around him. I don't like to throw names out there, but there's guys around him that are struggling, and they're giving him chance after chance after chance after chance again. There was guys in the Pirates organization that was not showing up to spring training. They were trying to beg these dudes to show up. Yeah. You know what I mean? And these guys I'm an outfielder. Sean Smith's an outfielder. These guys are ahead of me. Hey man, next man up. Where's that mantra? But you guys are begging these dudes to come from home and they don't want to come. You know what I'm saying? So I started seeing the politics side of it. And slowly but surely, Shane, I started to lose my passion. You know what I mean? And what really kept me going, to be honest with you, man, and I was just telling my son this the other day, is I had Shane Youman in the big leagues. I had Rajay Davis in the big leagues. I had Coco Chris in the big leagues. I had Andrew McCutcheon, Jose Bautista, dudes that I was rooting for. Ryan Howard, you know, these dudes that I came up with, Jeff Keppinger. You know what I'm saying? All these dudes, Jason Bourgeois. You know, all these dudes I grew up with. Your boy, what's my name? It's I'm slipping my name from the Braves.
You talking about Michael Bourne? You talking about Bourne?
My guy. Ooh. You know what I'm saying? I had all these killers around me that I came up with that I supported. So I continued to watch baseball to support them. But some part of me was bitter towards it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because I felt like baseball, I put my heart, soul, and you know, my energy, everything into baseball, and I wasn't rewarded for it. But I understand now why. You know what I'm saying? Because you only can control what you can control. And one of my, I want to share this with you, Shane. I don't know if I ever told you, maybe not. But one of my proudest moments in my life, and it didn't even have to do with me, but one of my proudest moments, and I know where you're going. I had to get you now, man. When I was in AAA, man, and you know, because I was in the trenches with Shane, man. Like we were in the trenches, like this dude used to get on me, like, man, Cut, you don't cook Cut, because every day I would treat Shane like my wife. Come back to my boy Avelino is free of Dookie. We live together. Like Shane used to have to slap your mama. You know, I didn't have to crib, but I get the groceries as long as you go up there and whip that thing up for it. Cut was up there making that cornbread. It was fire. The pork chops, you know what I mean? And beans and rice.
What about that Creole seasoning?
Hey, that's what you're talking about, to slap your mama.
Slap your mama, bro. So we eat good. You know what I mean? So I'm like, so I've been with it. I was with Shane when Shane was at his lowest. You know what I mean? And I'm with him when he at his highest. So one of my biggest moments, we was in AAA together. And I don't know, we just came back from Toledo. We lost in the playoffs.
We was in the clubhouse. We was in the clubhouse at Toledo.
Toledo in the clubhouse, bro.
Yeah.
And me and Shane sitting next to each other, bro. And we eating, like, you know what I mean? We get down. And our manager, what's my guy, Trent
Jewett.
Trent Jewett. Bro, he walked right past me. You know what I'm saying? Say Shane's to my left. He walks right past me and goes into Shane's ear and whisper. And I just seen Shane's face light up, and I knew what it was. You know what I'm saying? But for him to go by me, right to my guy, to tell him you're going to the big leagues, bro, like, that was one of the proudest moments of my life, bro. Like, I had chills. Like, I wanted to sit there and cry for him. Like, I was going to the big leagues, bro, because he deserved that. You know what I'm saying? He deserved that. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, it was like I was going. You know what I mean? And I never played one day in the big leagues, but that's, I you know, and that's the type of guy I am, man. If you guys know who I am, man, like, once you're in my circle, bro, you my family. Like, I don't, you know, of course we are not blood related, but these are my brothers. But you know what I mean? So I trust you, my wife, with my kids. You know what I'm saying? With my life. So I appreciate you guys for always being in my corner, man. And you know, like I said, I can go on and on with this stuff, man. And we have to do another segment. We can talk to these minor leaguers and these young dudes about the grind and how to stay with it, man. Like, you know, my guy Dominic Smith, he didn't have the smoothest ride when he's in the minor leagues. You know, he has his ups and downs, but he had to find his support system, and now he's there. He's doing it. You know what I'm saying? Dominic's a man. He's a man. So yeah, man, I appreciate you guys.
Yeah,
man.
that's the biggest thing, man. And I know we want to shed light on a lot of that. You know, different stories, different walks of life that you go through to get to where you want to be. You know, we all still here standing healthy, strong, you know, contributing to society. You know, Vic, head coach at Cerritos Junior College, community college, you know, giving that knowledge to some youngsters, coaching your son's team. Smitty, you working on a documentary. You still out there in the community doing your thing whenever you can, still swinging the bat whenever you can. But you built relationships with a lot of guys that have played at the major league level. A lot of guys that are doing big things with giving back to the communities and helping young black and brown kids stay involved with the game and continue to pursue their dreams. So all that grind that we talked about, whether it's the political side, you know, the numbers game, the money thing, or whatever it is, even though it discouraged you guys or kind of kept you away from really pursuing it the way you wanted to, hindsight 2020, we looking back and all the experiences that you guys have gone through, all the things you've learned over those years, you're able to pour it back into somebody that's younger, or even somebody that's at the major league level that look up to you guys as a mentor, or somebody that they can listen to or lean on when they need that help and that support. It takes a village. We all know that, and we all know it's a process. So we want to continue to instill those things into the youth, not only our families, our kids, but our other relatives and friends and whoever it may be. So I know it's been real serious. We had a lot of fun too, but I want to make it a little fun segment, you know, and we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna have a part 2. I think at some point we'll have a couple of more guys on. We can really dive into the political side of the game and how things are done. Don't want to get too much into it on this time. We want to leave some people something to come back to. But I'm gonna ask a few questions to you guys, man, and I want you to answer it the best way possible. And we're gonna shut it down for this segment. We all got families. I'm hungry. Vic mentioned food. It made me even more hungry. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, these boys used to use me, man. Make me throw down in the kitchen and A-ball and whatnot. But it's all in fun, man. We gotta appreciate that whole thing. But Smitty, man, I'm gonna start with you, bro. I'm gonna start with you. And same question for both fellas. Your favorite minor league city, bro. Favorite minor league city.
Does indie ball count too? So that's all professional ball.
Minor league. That's the minor leagues.
That's the minor leagues.
Yeah.
Oh man. Probably Victoria, British Columbia. Man,
okay, Canada.
A
whole nother country. Let's stamp the passport to check that.
Hey, you gotta watch the phone, man. Your wife gonna watch this because you got all like.
Listen.
It's all about presentation, Smitty.
Well, that's why I had to think about it, bro. Like,
we ain't trying to get nobody in trouble.
Nah, I hear you. Ain't no trouble, but it was good people there, good times.
For sure, going to another country and just being able to experience that whole Canadian vibe, man. For sure. What about you, Vic?
I gotta say Myrtle Beach, man. Like every time I went to Myrtle Beach, man.
Walk to the stadium and
walk to the stadium. The food was good. Played against some dudes, Jeff Francoeur. We had Brian McCann. We had some dudes.
Myrtle Beach.
What's the little dude? Venezuelan dude that played with the Giants in the outfield. Gregor Blanco. They had some stats growing coming up. Ralph Roberts. I still follow him on IG. But and then afterwards, you know, they showed us a good time. They're like, you know what I mean?
Sure.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So
right across the street.
I always played well at Myrtle Beach too. For some reason, I played well at Myrtle Beach, and they had a really good clubby too, man. All that stuff, you know, the stadium, the clubhouse, the clubby, the food that you ate, and the entertainment that's around it, it all played a part, man. So I love Myrtle Beach, man. As a matter of fact, I might have to go check Myrtle Beach out.
Sure. So bouncing off of that, Vic, you had any superstitions? Any superstitions or a certain thing that you had to do to get yourself ready for the game or in that bat?
Yeah, I mean, I remember one summer, man. I had a pretty good year in Lynchburg. I told myself that until like I really went into like a slump, I wore sleeves every day, and I remember that entire year. I finished the year in like around like 285. I was number 10th in the league in hitting because the high A Lynchburg was that hard of a league to hit in.
High A. Yeah, Smitty got a taste of that. Smitty got a taste of that for sure.
It was a beast, man. But I remember that year I wore my sleeves, my long sleeves, the entire summer, bro. I don't know how I got through it, but I got through it. And I remember I used to Roberts. I forgot his first name. He was our clubbier. He's one of the GMs over at Lynchburg. I would always have him bring extra pickles for my sandwiches, bro. I had a sandwich every day.
We know you like the extra pickles and extra mustard, bro.
Y'all know me. Yep, my long sleeves, bro.
For sure. Smitty, what about you, man? Any superstitions or routines you had to do or had to,
No, I just kind of went the same way every day. The only thing, I wouldn't call it superstition. I mean, whether that led to everyday success or not, I left it all on the field. I never not ran out of pop-up. Ground ball always in my head, and it's not even a second thought. I'm just built like that. I literally would think I could beat the baseball to the bag every day. Yeah. So, like for real. Behind closed doors all day, every day of my career. So, that wasn't a superstition, but regardless of what happened that day in life and career, as long as I know physically, mentally, I tried as much as I could. You know what I'm saying? I can live with the rest. So,
that's about it. That hustle factor. I don't know, man. This next question, I don't know if Vic got an answer for me or not. So, Smitty, I'm gonna go to you first. We're not talking about we talking about we throwing it back, throwback. Okay. I'm talking about throwback when you
I get you.
We got the 2-in-1s on. That's our socks. Little league, you know what I'm saying? The pants are high and all of that. So you got three options. Good game, whatever. After the game, whatever. Nachos, hot dog, chili Fritos. Which one?
Damn, no sandwiches.
You see what I'm saying?
I thought you was gonna say cheese fries. I was waiting for cheese. I'm gonna go cheese fries.
So you threw another one in there. I just always figure, nachos, chili Fritos, or hot dog after the game. You know what I'm saying? But y'all had cheese fries. We didn't have that. You know what I'm saying?
You from the boot. He talking about chili Fritos and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Fish, shrimp and grits. Y'all different down there, bro.
So cheese fries for you. You had that after you had to have some cheese fries.
Cheese fries. Anybody from our little league will tell you, boy, them cheese fries is slapping, boy. One of a kind.
For sure.
To this day.
And Vic, we already got your answer, but
yeah, well, I went with the chili cheese Fritos.
For sure.
Chili
Fritos with chili and cheese. I'm a nacho guy, bro. That's my answer. I wasn't into the chili Fritos like talking about. And hot dogs, I thought that just wasn't enough. You didn't get enough with a hot dog. I needed a big plate of nachos, man. So I got two more questions for y'all, then I'm gonna let y'all go.
Do we get one question each for you at the end?
Y'all can ask me a question, man.
Bet.
The best piece of advice you've gotten in your pro career. Any one of y'all can take it. You got an answer for it. Best piece of advice.
Well, I give you a short as I can 2-piece. First, Woody Heike, he showed me how to wear my belt as a professional. I mean, like for real. Like that's the thing. My son is 7 years old. He's been knowing how to wear his belt on his pants since he was 3 years old. And the other one was Dave Clark. Clarky, much love, much respect. Clarky cared, like for real, not just on the field, but off the field.
Yeah.
And he just told me, Smitty, make sure when you're done with this game, make sure you're done with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so don't, if you gonna get out and you still feel like you should be doing, you know what I'm saying? And that was honestly, that's probably the realest piece of advice that I've gotten. And I took that to heart because when it came to me in the universe, it needed to, you know what I'm saying? The only way that was translated to me was on some spiritual stuff by God for him to say it, because somebody else could have told me that and it wouldn't have been received the same. So I appreciate that. And again, I showed up every day for that. And that's, part of the reason why I care, because I can and I know better. So yeah.
Shout out to both of those, man. Woody Heike, Dave Clark. I never got to check.
Man.
Yeah, for sure.
Talk to him too, man. Clark, he's great dude, man.
For sure. We're going to get him on the podcast too. So Vic, what about you, man? The best piece of advice you got as a professional ball player?
I actually got a lot of good advice. I mean, I got a chance to be around some really good coaches. Started with Curtis Wilkerson in the New York Penguins.
Wilkie, shout out Wilkie out here in Texas.
Yeah, Curtis Wilkerson was a great guy, man. I got a chance to play for Dave Clark, great guy. I still talk to him, man. And he helped me become the man I am now, as far as in the coaching realm in my coaching career, because he was always, like Sean said, he was always the type of coach that cared, man. Like, it was
hold you accountable.
Yeah, he held you accountable, man.
You buying him that Grey Goose, he gonna find you so he could get that bottle of Grey Goose.
Man, that dude, Clark used to find me just for the way I used to walk, man. You fine.
You do.
Like, damn, Clark, like, you know, it's a low A, Clark. Yeah, I know, you just took my whole check. You know what I mean? But the greatest piece of, and I don't want to. Tony Beasley was a great manager too, man. I was really blessed to be around some really good dudes, man. But the greatest piece of advice I got was from Greg Briley, man. And I never forget, Greg Briley was one of my favorites of all time. Briley, man, yes sir, sir.
Definitely,
yes sir. What was Briley's one of his go-tos? Today is a holiday or something. He'll say so. I'll think of it in a second. But he had a saying, boy. He used to get me every time in Hickory with that. And then he would say, "What's a Ludacris song?" He used to sing that every day, boy. Oh my goodness. But Briley told me one day. He said, "Man, Vic," he was like, you know, he played in the big leagues with Ken Griffey Jr., man. So Briley's a big leaguer. He said, "The only reason that you will never play in the big leagues is because of yourself." You know what I'm saying? He said, if you're blessed enough to stay healthy, the only thing or the only person that's going to keep you from the big leagues is yourself, because he saw the way that I was I've always been a critical thinker, and this is you know, another conversation, man. Like I said, I can go on. I can tell you so much about myself, but I've never been my confidence. I wish I had the confidence of Sean Smith. You know, I told him that all the time, man. Like, Sean is a very confident person, man. I just always thought I was an okay player, man, and it used to take either my numbers or other people to tell me, or to read an article in Baseball America to tell me that I was good. You know what I mean? And Sean knows, you know what I mean? But Briley saw it. He's like, man, you got to be more confident in yourself, bro. Like, you could play baseball, bro. Like, you're good. You know what I'm saying? I was never a really emotional player. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't a Nigel Morgan. Like, you know, I wasn't going out there running through. I mean, I would run through a wall, but I wouldn't get up and snatch my shirt off and show my chest.
Yeah.
I wasn't fighting people.
Tony Plush.
Yeah, Plush, you know, that dude's full of energy.
What up, Mo?
Yeah, Mo, and that's how that helped him get to the big leagues. You know, all that energy and all that passion that he showed the world. He wasn't afraid to show it. You know what I'm saying? I held all that in. If I struck out with bases loaded to lose a game, you wouldn't know the difference between when I struck out or I hit a bomb. You know what I'm saying? I was always on an even keel. And because of that, man, I remember the Pirates got me a psychiatrist. You remember Jeff Miller?
Jeff Miller, yeah.
Yeah, man. When Jeff Miller met with me, he was like, bro, like, you got to go watch The Matrix, man. You got to believe you're Neo. You're the one, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because he wanted me to believe in myself that much. So Riley gave me that piece of advice, man. You know, if you don't make it to the big leagues, you have no one to blame but yourself. You're going to be the reason that you don't make it, you know. And part of it, he was part of it, along with injuries. Part of it was he was pretty accurate. And then another piece of advice that I received, and this is more recent. This just last year from Coco Crisp. You know, I'm the head coach at Cerritos College, and Coco Crisp is my bench coach. But he was, you know, talking to one of our hitters, and he was talking about. And I wish I would have known this when I played, because I was always a very coachable player. Like, I remember one year I was doing double after the first month. I was leading a team in hitting. I had Jose Bautista on my team.
Yeah, 2005.
Yeah, I had all those dudes on my team.
Brad Eldred.
I was after the first month. You look at Rajay. I was leading the team. I think Shelton might have been on that team. I was leading the team, and
Ronnie Paulino was with us at the beginning.
Shelton
wasn't there.
Yeah, well, bro. And I was
had all the big leaguers.
After the first month in batting average and on base percentage. I was killing it. And we had a hitting coach come in, and he wanted to change everything. He was like, bro, he's like, in BP, because I had a little, like you said, Shane, I'm small, but I pack a little punch. So he always told me, if you can hit home runs in BP, like at will, you could do it in the games. But I want you to drop your hands to create more power. I'm hitting 28 after the first month. I drop my hands because I want to be coachable. And Coco Chris said this to one of my hitters. He said, hey, look, everything isn't for everybody. He said, I'm gonna give you some information. You can take it in, you know, and if it doesn't work for you, trash it. You know, and I wish I would have known that when I played. Like, I'm getting all this information from all these coaches, you know, because we had outfield rovers, hitting rovers. We had all these, and we heard it from our head coach. You know, we're hitting for, and then on our team, like let's say with the Altoona, we have a hitting coach, and then we got a roving hitting coach. So I'm hearing all this stuff from so many different people, and I'm trying to make everybody happy, and I'm not happy, and my numbers aren't speaking for themselves because I'm trying to do this, that, and that. I should have just stuck to what I was doing. But what's the saying? If it's not broke, don't try to fix it. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So if I wish I had that piece of information then, you know what I'm saying? And that's why, you know, and it's for a different podcast, but I wish I had a me then. That's why I do what I do now. You know what I mean? For these kids in this community, because I have so much information here that I would be selfish if I didn't share the knowledge that we had. The same, and I tell you all the time, Shane, what you're doing with shout outs to True U Athletics, you know, I mean, for you to do what you're doing now, man, to share what's in here, man, that's huge, man. Because if you just change one of these kids' lives, you did your job. But you're going to go above and beyond that. You're going to change hundreds and thousands of lives. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And you're using what you have. You're a doctorate in baseball, bro. I should start calling you Dr. Youman, Shane, Sean, Dr. Smith. No, it's real. My dad told me that. He was like, you and your boys, you already got doctorate degrees. How long have you been playing baseball? And on a professional level. It only take you 8 to 10 years to get a doctorate degree once you go to college. We didn't play.
We did that.
You know what I'm saying? So we're doctors in baseball, man. So again, man, I appreciate you for having me on. And for the listeners that are out there, you know, Shane got my information, my email, my Instagram, like reach out to me because I want to be here for you guys, help you guys become the best version of yourselves and get to where you want to be, which is the big leagues, or the highest
college,
level,
pro ball, whatever it is.
Yeah, Venezuela, Korea, Japan. You don't have to make it to the big leagues to make money in this game. You know what I mean? You don't have to make it to the big leagues. Shane, Google him. That's all I say. Google him. Google his. You know what I'm saying? Google this dude, Sean Smith. They made lots of money outside of Big League Baseball. So
yeah, man. And we ain't done yet. We got a couple of minutes. Okay. I got one more question, but I'm gonna let you guys ask me whatever. Smitty, I know Smitty got a question for me.
Go ahead.
So I'm gonna let you. Okay, so the last question, cut and dry, no guessing. Well, if we can go multiple sports, but favorite athlete of all time. I want to take it first. Smitty, you're thinking. I see you thinking. Your eyes got wide open.
Because I don't know between fucking both. Well, Deion, because Deion was I respect to both, but Deion is my favorite athlete of all time.
All right, that's fair enough. Fair enough. Vic?
Well, I was gonna say Deion Sanders too.
Smitty took your answer, huh?
Yeah, I mean that's man.
We don't need variety.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna stick with baseball since we're in a baseball chat. I'm gonna go with Griffey, Ken Griffey Jr.
Sure, can't go wrong with Griffey, man. Definitely can't go wrong with Griffey, man. So for me,
I hit that dude when I was younger all the time.
For me, that's who it is too, from the baseball side, and obviously MJ from the basketball side. But you know, again, man, I appreciate y'all hopping on. You know, we put some stuff out there. I think we were able to vent a little bit and express certain things, and now maybe the world can see and hear, and folks can really understand how hard it is to play this game, and not only that, how hard it is to make it to the highest level of this game. No matter how good you are, it's not promised. Whether it's injury, politics, money, whatever it may be, it's stupid difficult, man. So, but before we close out, now, Smitty, you brought it up. Can we ask you a question? You're asking me that now. I'm giving you the floor to ask me whatever it is you want to ask.
If there's one team, if it has not already happened, that you wanted to pitch for, you know what I'm saying? In the big leagues, just one game.
One team, one game.
One team. Right now, if they called you right now, Shane, right now, let's go.
It's an easy answer, but not really. But I grew up, and my mom a Braves fan, bro. My mom, rest in peace to my mom's, man. She was a huge Braves fan. That's the only games we were able to catch on TV because the Braves had their own station, you know. And you didn't really need cable to catch that station. So Atlanta Braves, dog, hands down, easy.
And see, I didn't even know that as long as I've been knowing you. Shit, I've been knowing you since I was 18 years old, damn near. You know what I'm saying?
Atlanta Braves. I mean, that's one and there's a distant second, and I don't even need to discuss the distant second because Atlanta
was the one. Just like you told us, the one.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. What you got for
ahead,
me, Vic? You got something for me?
Yeah, mine is not as fun as Sean's. That was a really good question, Sean.
Yeah, definitely was. I never. Yeah,
that's a good one. That's a good one. Mine is more so for the listeners because we're talking about the whole grinding thing, and I'm not sure. A lot of people don't know your story, Shane. You know, and one day you have to. I don't know.
I need a host. Exactly. Bautista mentioned it. Bautista mentioned it. We'll have 3 or 4 people on there to host.
Y'all live along together.
Yeah. We gotta somebody. We gotta. Yeah, we're gonna have to get it.
BB, you do it. You know.
We'll have a pot of gumbo. We'll just put a pot of gumbo together and have a few people on there to get me in, to get me to share everything.
Yeah. Okay. But my thing is, after that, you know, you remember well, of course you do, but the line drive where you took off was the orbit? Was it the orbital? Would it get your eye?
It hit me just above there, man. Just above there. It got me in a good spot.
What was your internal drive to keep going? You know what I mean? Like what? Because I share with my college players is we always have to find something internal. Yeah. It's not about the external thing. Like when you say the big leagues and money and you know, or you know, I want to buy my mom a house, or you know what I'm saying, cars, or it's a lot of external things. But what did you find internally that lit that fire to keep you going, to overcome everything that you've already been through? Because at this time when you got hit, when that happened, that injury happened, you already played in the big leagues, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So what kept you going, man? I just want to know.
Picture this, and we got to shout him out too. He was a bulldog on the field, Paul Mahalam. Yeah. You remember in Lynchburg, he took one off. He took one right square.
I was on his team.
Yeah, we were both on the same team. Exactly. We were all there the same year. He took one right square.
Chris Brokowski, whatever the dude from the White Sox.
Yeah, whatever his name was. But he took one right square. He got hit in the orbital bone. Mm-hmm. And his shit was jacked up. And I had to come in the game right after that. I was the next pitcher in the game after that injury. Ambulance had to take him off and all of that. But I said it to say this. He was able to bounce back. It took him some time. We all knew Paul Mahalam. He's a tough cat. It took him some time, but he was able to bounce back. Now, fast forward, that was 2004. Fast forward 2009. That's something we never think about as ball players, as pitchers, because if you do, that's when shit happens. I've been hit by line drives in the past, but nothing as crucial as getting hit in the face. At the time, I'm grinding through indie ball. You know, I had been released by the Phillies. We talked about the political side and just different little shit here and there. For me, I was going through depression at the time. Didn't even know it, man. And Tom Fowler, who was the AA coach in Reading the year that I was with the Phillies, he actually brought that to my attention. He was like, man, I think you're depressed. I can help. I can get you some help. And I'm like, man, I'm good. I'll be okay. For one, not knowing. For two, pride. So, Vic, to answer your question, going through that depressed state, and even that line drive hit me in the eye in 2009. I was still going through that depression stage. Now I'm in indie ball, like, fuck. I'm starting games in the big leagues. Less than 2 years later, I'm playing independent baseball. So that line drive kind of helped me put things in perspective because I started rolling that season. I was putting it together, starting to pitch the way I knew I could pitch. And again, pride. Pride was the thing that kept me going. I didn't want to go home and be like, man, I'm done playing. People asking me, what happened? That pride kept me rolling. And the fact that freaking Brian Manetti called me 3 weeks after the incident looking for a pitcher in AAA with the Pirates, but I can't play because my eye is still jacked up. But the pride of it, the pride of me, the pride that I had to keep going, the pride that I had to not want to have to answer those questions from people back at the crib or even y'all. Like, what happened, man? Why you not playing? And I know I still had a lot to give to the game. I knew I could still pitch at a high level. I just needed the opportunity. And the opportunity came with me going overseas.
Exactly. Superstar, too.
But that part of it, it comes in different ways. And we can go on and on about that, but we're not going to jump in. We're going to save that for when you guys put me, on front and center and I can share my story. But, man, for y'all, man, I appreciate y'all hopping on as family men, myself as a family man. I know my old lady probably going to be grilling me when I get back to the crib. This is the second time I filmed podcast episode at the facility. You know, I'd like to get the logo on the background, but the lighting was a little difficult tonight. But you guys are the second episode or the second podcast I was able to film at True Athletics. Hopefully, Vic has been down to see it. Smitty, man, hopefully you have a chance to come down there and check things out.
We do, and we film in that.
Oh, we definitely do that, man. VV took some hacks in the cage. Yeah, for sure. VV took the hacks in the cage and kind of broke some things in. So, but man, again, man, I appreciate y'all coming on and sharing that story, man. Sharing your story, part of your story. We're gonna jump into it again, hopefully with a few more guys around to chop it up and go over some stuff. But again, appreciate y'all, man. This is the League Talk Podcast. Boom, and we out of here.
Love y'all boys. Much respect to both of y'all.
Love you too, man. For sure.